your flesh and blood.
Welcome to Tell Me Your Story with Dennis Henson. This is a brand new series we hope that you will enjoy, and it's called Body of Health. Dennis, welcome, and let us start out by telling people about, I guess best way to put it is our disclaimer.
Okay. Well, Richard, thank you so much for having me on this series. I'm really excited about doing this, but I think it's very important that everyone understand that neither of us are medical doctors or have any kind of medical training. We are just people who are very interested in health and being able to get better faster, so that if you have some problem, that gives you a place to go to find things that have worked for other people that may help you, or they may not, but there'll be something worthwhile checking out.
Body of Health is going to be here every week. The website that we're going to suggest you go to for information, number one website is dennisjhenson.com, which we will have in the audio and video podcast videocast. But there's also a Facebook location, and basically it's facebook.com/groups/body of health. Once again, facebook.com/groups, that's plural, groups/body of health. We hope that you will go there to check out the information that Dennis has provided with us. And with that, we move into the best of health. That's right. Body of health. And we're going to talk about the best of health, the best things for your body of health here on the program. This is part 3 with Dennis Henson. I'm Reverend Dr. D. And Dennis, as always, it's great to get together. And, I was looking at the list of the things that we've already covered, and boy, there are a lot of them in the first 2 parts of this particular program. First of all, thanks for being here. And here we are in the month of May as we're conversing. And this is incredible how there's so much great stuff out there for us to improve our health and well-being. And I know you're using most all of the things that we talk about, which I wonder how you even have time to work.
Well, my wife and my secretary help out by getting all the things that I find in my research. They just provide them for me, and then all I have to do is just take them. So that doesn't take very much time. But thank you so much for having me again. I really look forward to doing the rest of this program. Before we start, though, let me remind everyone, if they want to know all of the things on the first 2 programs, they can go to bodyofhealth.life and find the article that covers all of the best of everything for your health. And I also want to mention that neither of us are medical doctors. We're just people who are interested in our health and want to share what we've learned with you so that you can have better health. But before you make any changes or do anything, we suggest that you do see your own physician.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, since we're talking about the best of everything for your body of health, your health and well-being, we're going to pick up where we left off. Of course, this is sort of, we talked about this in the last 2 programs, and actually we've been talking about this for the entire series since we started back in January. And I remember asking you a key question, especially concerning my particular issue that I am dealing with. And it turns out that I need to be focused on this for the best anti-inflammatory item for your better health, because the inflammation is what is sort of the root cause, as we have discovered over the years in medicine and health and wellness. Inflammation is a big deal. So what is the best? Because I tried to pronounce it earlier, curcumin, something like that.
Well, I pronounce it curcumin.
Curcumin.
Probably your pronunciation is as good as mine.
There you go.
But yeah, this is really something that it fights inflammation. It's the number one thing that you can get in your body to fight inflammation, and it's good for your brain and your heart, and your skin, and also for your digestion. That's a pretty big bundle right there. The best way to find it and get it in your system is with turmeric. Turmeric has the most curcumin of any supplement.
Yeah. And I know too, we'll not go deeply into this, but everybody pronounces things a little differently, and curcumin or curcumin. But the bottom line is a lot of what we're talking about, you can find this information through dennisjhenson.com. Go to the health tab and then scroll down and you'll find this list of the best anti-inflammatory, the best this, that, and the other thing. You'll find that list. You'll see these items there, copy paste it, put it into the search engine if you choose to, or better yet, why don't you go over to bodyofhealth.life? Because most likely you're going to find most all of these different things in the or on the shelves, you might say, the virtual shelves where you can order some of these things to incorporate into your body of health. So as we move along here, we talked about many, many different things. You have a coffee called the Morning Clarity, which I happen to enjoy myself, but it is a portion of it is mushrooms, but I don't know that necessarily the best mushroom that we're going to talk about here is in the coffee. So let's stick focused for the moment on what is the best mushroom here. How's that pronounced? Rishihi? Rishihi?
I, I pronounce it Rashai, but you'd have to ask an Indian
Yeah, absolutely.
for the correct
Absolutely.
pronunciation. But this mushroom helps you sleep. And as you get older, sleep is really important. And if you don't get enough sleep, all kinds of things happen to your health that are not positive. So this would be something that you would want to take, as closer to the evening time.
Mm.
Better sleep, stronger immunity, reduced fatigue and depression. It's good for your heart. It has antioxidant properties and cancer support. And it's good for your liver and gut health. So that's a lot of things just by taking something that's really simple and easy to put into your daily plan.
I know that this next one, the best root, of course, you might smell primarily around Christmas time because, we're cooking with nutmeg and cinnamon. And in this case, we're cooking with maybe ginger, but it comes in a root. So why is this one the best for us?
Well, ginger is an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. It aids in circulation, blood sugar management, you'll want to know that, and it's good for your immune system. And it tastes great. I
Mm,
mean, I
yeah.
love ginger. I love the holidays too, and the smell of the different spices, especially ginger. But if you put it in your coffee, you can mix it with your morning clarity,
Yeah.
or you can mix it with any drink, or you can put it on your food, on your desserts, and it adds a little spicy flavor, makes the room smell great. You can mix it with wax, melt the wax, mix it with wax, and burn it. It makes the house just smell wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. Now we're going to move on to what's labeled here as the best meat, salmon. Now I just had a friend over and he called me on his drive over here and said, "Hey, could you pick up maybe something for dinner?" And I'm thinking maybe fish, he says, and I said, "Okay, sure." Now, I wish I'd picked this one up. I don't know if it's any cheaper than what I did buy. I've actually bought cod, and I cooked fish for the very first time in my life. I seasoned it a little bit, put a little butter in there, and then I wrapped it in foil and stuck it in the oven. Okay. Oh my gosh, it was good. So now I'm sitting here thinking, I think the next time I go to the store, I'm going to go to the deli over there, the meat counter, and say, "Hey, the fish counter, get myself a small, maybe 1 pound of salmon. That's now listed here as one of the best items for us, as it's listed here meat, but we won't disparage of that. Why is this so good for us?
Well, it's fuel for the brain. It benefits the heart. It's great for your mental health and your eye health, and it protects your skin. And one of the most important things in your body is your thyroid. If your thyroid's not working, you're not going to be around much longer. I had a friend I lost because of that. But salmon's also good for your thyroid. Another thing that's good for thyroid is sauna. If you have problems with the thyroid, you need to start going to the sauna 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Mm.
The bigger the problem, the more often you should go.
Well, we're going to jump into another protein, and I'm understanding that fish is it's just a protein too, but we're going to keep it in the category it's in because now we're going to move into a protein that I know my wife and I absolutely loved. We still do, but we loved it because we had chickens. Now we weren't eating the chickens, okay? And let me tell you, laying hens are not really, yeah, okay, if you had to, you could eat them, but that's not what they're there for. They're there to lay those delicious, absolutely incredible eggs. So we're also talking about pasture raised whole eggs, or uh, cage free is another way to put it
Right.
as well. And we had about a 1,200 square foot run that was covered on both sides and over the top to protect from predators, and they had so much room. And then when the rains came and the grasses grew inside the run, they got to eat that. Oh my goodness, they were so good. Tell us about why this is one of the best proteins for us.
Well, it shares a unique quality with sardines. But I hate sardines, which is that it contains every nutrient that you need. You could literally live on sardines or eggs or a
Mhm.
mixture of the two. Uh, they're high in antioxidants, better fat quality, and they have choline content, high choline content. So they're really good for you. And who doesn't like eggs? I love them. I mean, I think they taste really good. Where just the opposite for sardines. I really
Yeah.
don't like them. I've tried because they're so healthy. I tried to put them into my diet, but I just can't. I can't get them down. But if you do like them,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, the can of sardines that you get in the store that costs $2, you can literally live on
Mhm.
that for a healthy life.
Aren't they somewhat on the salty side? Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're unpalatable. Or I shouldn't say unpalatable, but why a lot of folks don't care for them.
Well, to me, they just taste too fishy. I mean,
Ah,
it's just awful. Yeah, but I'm not big on seafood
ah,
anyway. So,
oh, I personally, I love shrimp, ahi tuna, those kinds of things. And now that I have learned how to cook fish, only this time, what the mistake I made though was I should have put the foil wrapped fish in a pan. I set it right on the rack, and of course, I didn't have it completely foil wrapped, sealed, so some of the butter was leaking out and dripping down on the bottom of the oven. And so I got a little smoke, and the alarm went off, and oh, it was a fun dinner, let me tell you. Let's move on to one of the best foods, and that happens to be watercress. What's up with watercress? I love them. I love to feel the crunch, kind of like an apple.
right. Well, I don't know that many people know this, but watercress is the world's most nutrient-dense food. Isn't that amazing? It
Wow.
boosts bone health, high in antioxidants, supports your heart and your immune system, and contains anti-cancer properties, which is, that's that's pretty amazing just from eating just eating a watercress. That's another food that you could, I don't know that I would want to live on just eating that. Wouldn't be a very good variety. Maybe you could have a mixture of eggs and watercress and sardines, but I'd leave off the sardines.
Yeah, well, I have to wonder too. Sardines, and again, going back to that, something tells me too that and I'm not sure about this because I haven't had them myself. They still have the bones, but they're so small they're not a
Right.
danger when you do that. Whereas bigger fish with bigger bones, you want to make sure you get it deboned.
Right. It's
Yep.
just the fish packed in oil
Yep.
and they're cheap.
Yep. Well, now
My
here,
father my father used to get them all the time and eat them with crackers, but I couldn't even stand the smell back then.
yeah, I know people put them on pizza too. And okay, whatever floats your boat, as they say, whatever you enjoy, please go for it. Absolutely. Sea salt. One of the best salts is Celtic sea salt, which we have, I think, both Himalayan salt and sea salt on our counter. We have this little nice little ledge on the back side of the stove or the stove top, and we have both of those there. I'll pick it up and you can put a little on the. That's what I was doing last night with that fish. Oh, it's delicious. But talk to us about this Celtic sea salt.
Well, the sea salt and the Himalayan salt are really good for you. They have a lot of the minerals that you need. Table salt is terrible for you. I mean, it's all the everything that you need has been stripped out. So it's kind of like taking poison.
Mm,
But Celtic salt is better than the other four or the other three because it has 10 more minerals of the trace minerals that you need for your body than the best one, the Himalayan salt is second. So Celtic salt has 10 more minerals. Um, that's pretty significant, I think. So I want my body to have all the minerals that it needs for for any reason that it might need them.
yeah.
Uh, it's also great for hydration. If you take a pinch of Celtic salt when you drink a first glass of water every morning, it it increases your hydration. It makes your body absorb that water much more quickly than if you do it without the salt. People pay a lot of money for electrolytes. If you buy a bottle of electrolytes, two or three, $4, when you get exactly the same thing by just sprinkling a little Celtic salt in some filtered water and drinking that. And well, I don't know if it's the same or not. Celtic salt costs money, but I
Sure.
always have it around, so I don't need to go to the store to purchase electrolytes.
Yeah.
It's good for your digestion, and it moves the needle to the alkaline side, which is more healthy than the acid side.
Mm. It's interesting, these different biochemical balances that we need to work on and maintain. You talk about acidity versus alkaline, that type of thing. Matter of fact, I was unpacking some stuff and I came across this packet that was given to me of these little strips that you can use to test your alkaline level, I guess your acidity or your alkalinity. I think that's the right word. In any event, it's just amazing to me how we have come so far in order to be able to maintain optimum health, or one of my favorite words that was shared with me by a good friend of mine, Linda Mackey, homeostasis. Homeostasis, and that's a good thing. We're going to pause here to remind you that you are listening to and watching Body of Health, the series that is hosted by Dennis Henson, Dennis J. Henson, as well as yours truly, Reverend Dr. D. We encourage you to go to dennisjhenson.com, click on the health link, and scroll on down. You can join a group that will support you, that can give you more information on Facebook. It's called Body of Health Group. We hope that you'll go there. Continue scrolling down on the health page on dennisjhenson.com to get more information about what we have been talking about. A lot of the stuff that Dennis has put together is available right there. You just keep scrolling down. I don't know if you have a specific tab yet, or just they're smattered throughout this listing of recipes that we can start to work on. Not only healthy recipes, like maybe I'll suggest something along the line, I mean, a recipe for cooking fish, kind of thing. But you've also got cookies and candies, kinds of things that are they satisfy that sweet tooth, but they're good for you, and that's really where it comes down to. And I have been seeing so many of these little videos on, I think it's Facebook, where bananas seem to be the core of their recipe. Mashed banana. You mash that up, and then maybe you mix oats with it, or you mix peanut butter with it, or maybe even some whole flour, whole grain flour, maybe a dash or a little bit of baking powder, and maybe some other things, and you put it in the oven, and it's a healthy snack that has no sugar, at least no added sugar. It all comes from what you're putting in there, and that type of thing. So we encourage you to go there. And then if you're looking for a lot of these items that we're talking about here on this particular part 3 of the best of everything for your body of health, you want to go to bodyofhealth.life, LIFE. And we certainly hope that you'll scroll through there, and it continues to grow and expand as we continue to do these programs. So keep going back there. And by the way, if you place an order, you're going to have an opportunity to put in a code that'll get you a little bit of a discount. About what is it? About 20%? Did you say, Dennis?
It
And
is.
we encourage you to go there and do that. And we encourage you to stay with us as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story. Body of Health, Dennis J. Henson, Reverend Dr. D, and we hope that you are enjoying this. We're going to jump back in here. Now, here's one of the best liquids. I almost read that wrong. No, it says liquids, not liquors, liquids. Now, you have spring water that you have listed here. And we can get into another area because my wife and I, for us, as well as for, believe it or not, our cats, we give them distilled water. We talked to a vet about this.
Mhm.
And as long as they're getting the minerals and nutrients that they need from their food, they're not getting added minerals that could cause what humans refer to as kidney problems. So that's really important. But let's talk here about the spring water and why it is the best liquid for us to have on hand.
Well, one of the reasons is it tastes better. I mean, really, it really tastes good. Our water filter, Norma decided she was going to change the filters, and she took it all apart and couldn't put it back together. So for 2 or 3 days, we were purchasing uh, water filtered from the grocery store. And I dreaded taking my vitamins because the taste was just terrible. I mean, it was just awful compared to what we'd been drinking.
Hmm.
But then my daughter comes in and she brings this bottle of spring water, and it's blue. The bottle is beautiful. It's blue and it's got the beautiful label on it. And I said, well, do you mind if I have some? She said, sure. And oh my gosh, it just tasted so good. It was better than, the filtered water in the house. So that's one reason.
Hmm.
It's nature's hydration. And it does contain minerals, a lot of the minerals that you need, and it's good for natural electrolytes. It has an alkaline pH, like we mentioned before, and it's good for your immune and support systems. So, if you have a choice and you can make the choice, spring water would be a good choice.
Mm. Well, I know that water is important in our diets. We are roughly 95% water, and that needs to be shall we say, continually filtered. I even look at our bodies as a big filter. That when we put things in it, whether it be, shall we say, solids or liquids, the body then processes and runs these items through the filtration systems that we have to glean the nutrients, the things that are necessary for the body to continue, whether it's the pharmacy, shall we say, the human pharmacy within, to make sure we have those chemicals, those items to keep us moving forward or to fortify the blood, and the list goes on, the muscles and all of the tissues and everything. So water is extremely important to carry out the things that we don't need, or that we don't need anymore, because there are certain vitamins and minerals, right, Dennis, that you have to continue to put in because the body doesn't hold on to them, not just because of the process of water, drinking water and hydration, but just because they need to be continually replenished.
Right. Without those trace minerals, you just wouldn't live for very long. It's
Hmm.
kind of like when you see the goats that are on the side of the mountains, those tremendously high mountains, and the goats that are hanging on just by their edges of their feet.
Hmm.
The reason that they're up there is to lick the salt and get the minerals. So they're risking their lives every day in order to continue to live. That's how important they are, and they're important to us also. Thank God we don't have to climb the mountain to lick it. We can get it in other ways.
I was thinking the same thing that you just said. I was thinking that very same thing. Well, we've got a fruit, the best fruit, and I love this because of in my childhood we had one of these bushes or trees or vines or what have you that grew on at one of our neighbors' houses, and we would pull one of these off of the vine and break it open and suck on those seeds. And we're talking about the best fruit being the pomegranate. Talk to us about that.
Well, pomegranates are really good. They taste very good, but they're very difficult to eat. In fact, you should go to YouTube before you try to tackle it. You go to YouTube and find out the best way to get to the fruit part. And one thing you need to keep in mind is you do want to eat the seeds, and you do want to chew them up because
Mm.
they have a lot of the good things for you inside them. And pomegranates they tasty. They taste really good, and you can juice them and drink the juice. In most cases, for most fruits, juicing is really not good for you. Uh, the reason is if you juice the fruit, you're getting too much sugar. Nature makes it so that if you eat the fruit, it limits the amount that you can take.
Mm-hmm.
A home ec teacher one time did a little test with a room, and she said, we're going to look at oranges compared to orange juice. And she said, how many people in here can drink this full glass? She squeezed, I think, 6 oranges and made a full glass. How many people? And everybody raised their hand. And sure enough, she had a young man come up and he drank it. It was not a problem. Okay. She said, okay, how many people in here think they could eat 6 oranges? Everybody thought, well, yeah, sure. Okay. Well, she took the biggest guy in the room and said, here, you start. Well, he started out and he ate an orange. It was great. And 2 and 3. When he got to 4, he started thinking, well, he slowed down a little bit. This is not as good as I thought it might be. And then 5, and he couldn't eat the sixth one because nature made it that way. You're not supposed to have 6 oranges worth of juice in your body. That's way, way too much sugar.
Mm.
It's real sugar. The sugar that you get in fruit is the same sugar that you're not supposed to have too much of.
Yeah.
But nature has made it in such a way so that when you eat it in fruit, it's released differently, and you can't eat enough fruit, or you shouldn't be able to get too much sugar. So let's just take bananas. They're extremely sweet, but you can't juice them. That's a good thing. But to eat enough bananas to get the same amount of sugar that's in a glass of orange juice would probably be about a dozen. Now, just imagine trying to sit down and eating a dozen bananas at one setting. So anyway, pomegranates are great. Let's get back. I got way off. They're high in antioxidants. They support your heart and brain health. They're good for your memory. They provide cancer prevention. They're anti-aging. Now, I'm to the point where that makes a lot of difference to me. I wanted to get as many things in my body that's anti-aging as possible, and they promote skin health. So, that's a pretty good group of things. Plus, they taste pretty good. The
Mm,
only difficult thing is getting to the fruit.
yeah. Now, I am starting to see people who are sort of advocating eating the whole fruit. It doesn't matter almost what it is. There's some fruits, the outside you don't want it because it may got little prickly things. I'm not sure about a kiwi, for example,
Yeah,
but
it's good for
because
you.
there's so much nutrition
Yes.
in the peel or the rind, and what they do is they throw the whole thing into a blender.
Mm.
Now they will strain it, okay, but then, of course, I'm still wondering, okay, are you still getting all the nutrients? Because most of the nutrients are, strangely enough, in the peel and
That's
that kind
yeah,
of thing, the outer covering.
that's true. Putting it into blender is different from putting it into a juicer,
Yeah,
but it's not as healthy as eating the fruit itself.
right.
But if you do that with an orange, you need to do research about an orange peel before you start eating orange peels.
Yeah.
Because if you squeeze an orange peel, squeeze the juice out of it and put a match to it, you'll find out why you shouldn't be eating the orange
Ah,
peel.
well, now, of course, there is what's called the zest. Now, that's where you scrape off some of the peel in your that you put on top of the recipe. Usually, what you're making, it's not
Well,
something that you use a lot of.
that's true, but you're much better using a lemon because you can eat the whole lemon in the peel, and the zest of the lemon's much better for you than the zest from an orange.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's your choice.
Yeah.
But your
Absolutely.
better choice is the lemon.
I would agree. Another good choice, of course, is staying tuned to Body of Health as you folks are, and we're going to stay here to continue the finish up this list here in part three of the best of everything for your body of health here on the series that we bring your way. We encourage you to also go to DennisJHenson.com and Body of Health dot life. That's bodyofhealth.life as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story. Reverend Dr. D here, Dennis J. Henson here as well. And please make a trip over on the internet to DennisJHenson.com and find out about all the good things. He's even got a couple of tabs up there. One of them takes you to some of the books that he's written, which we'll talk about a little later on in the program. But let's get back to the best of here on the program and talk about one of my favorite berries. Now, I love strawberries and raspberries and blackberries. I've even had mulberries. Now, my father planted a couple of mulberry trees in our backyard. However, they were not the fruit producing trees, which is a disappointment because when I first tasted a mulberry a few years ago, like it was that long ago, it was not that long ago, I'm going, oh man, we so missed out. But I have a feeling my dad did not do that because of the potential mess that we'd be tracking into the house with the berries falling on the ground with us playing in the backyard. But they're marvelous. But the best berry is the blueberry, Dennis.
Well, blueberries are great antioxidants. They're really high in antioxidants, and they're good for your brain and your memory, and they support your entire body, your health. They're good for your blood sugar. They help to manage your blood sugar and protect your skin. So if you want to pick the healthiest berry, now what I do is my wife makes jello and she puts collagen in, and then she puts all kinds of berries and then some yogurt on top of that and mixes it up. And oh, that's good. And so I always get a lot of blueberries,
Mm.
but I also take cacao, which is 40 times more powerful than the blueberry. So I put that in my coffee or in my tea sometimes. Cacao is really great for you, but if you don't have it and you do have berries, blueberries is the best one to pick.
Mm. Oh, I love them. I absolutely love them. Um, I'm going to work on creating a recipe. I don't know about creating, but I'll take some ideas from other people and creating a muffin or a bread or something that I can put in the oven and cook that has infused into it those blueberries, the whole blueberry. I will have nothing but the whole blueberry in my foods. Oh, just absolutely delicious. I've even taken that list of blue of berries that I mentioned before. I've actually put them all in the blender, blended them all up, and then mixed them with my non-sugar drink that I like,
Mhm.
and it's really good. Although I will tell you that you gotta start using it fairly soon. Not that it's going to go bad, but what ends up happening, I put it in the refrigerator and it starts to gel. So I've got to kind of maybe keep it in the blender container. And I saw something, speaking of blenders, that blew me away, Dennis. I don't know if you've done this. You might check with your wife to see if she's ever tried this. Your wife, I'm sure, has used mason jars before, right?
Yes.
Well, try putting the blade portion of your blender, unscrew it off the bottom of your blender, and screw it onto a mason jar. I have seen that they fit and that you could actually blend whatever that you wanted in a mason jar, and then you get to store it right there in that mason jar. So you're not dirtying up all kinds of stuff, and you keep everything together. I'm going, I never knew that. That blew me away. So something to check into. Let's let's talk about teas. And as of course I've talked before, I'm not a huge tea drinker. But green tea is one of the best teas to drink. And I will tell you that years ago, when I was working out at a transmitter site in Phoenix, I used to make this yerba mate royale tea that I would put out in the sun. It's a big glass gallon jar, and I'd put the tea in there, and then I'd put that outside. What about, can you make sun tea out of green tea? Is that something that's a good idea? And then, of course, tell us a little bit about this whole aspect of why it's the best tea for us.
Well, the main reason is it helps you live longer. People that live in parts of the world where most of the people drink green tea with their meals live 10 to 15 years longer. So that's pretty powerful. I mean, you don't really need to say much else if you want to live longer and feel better. Add green tea to your diet. I personally don't like the taste that much, but I like living. So there's a choice. It burns fat, helps you with your diet, cleans your cells, supports heart health and brain function. It's good for metabolism, again, with your weight, helps prevent cancer, aids oral and bone health. So those are some things that the other things that we mentioned don't do. So if you like it and you can enjoy it, I drink a lot of tea, but green tea is just not my favorite. I
Hmm.
drink it sometimes just for the health, but every night before I go to bed, I drink either lemon balm or well, there's several teas that help me sleep, and I put a little olive oil in there and some cloves. Cloves are really great for you, but if you have a hard time sleeping all night, uh, look into the different teas. Lemon balm's the best one for that. So, but green tea is great for longevity.
Absolutely. Well, we encourage people to check into all of these different things. We encourage you to do what you can to improve your health and well-being. Uh, I'm not necessarily saying that this is one of our items here, but I will tell you, if you can move somewhere that really supports your well-being, and the reason I bring that up is because my wife and I, we moved about 6 months ago, and I gotta tell you, it's not that where we were living was that bad, but boy, what a difference. My attitude, just how I feel. I'm not saying that my blood sugar's back to normal 100% yet, but it's getting there. But I will say that it doesn't hurt, I'll tell you. And then the little projects that I do around the place, and the trees and the little critters. Matter of fact, we were out looking out the sliding door out on the deck, the back deck, and we got a couple of squirrels sitting there waiting for us to toss some peanuts out there on the deck so they can have a little something. And it's just, so if you can, or find ways of making some improvements in your environment. We can talk about that on another program as well, that support you and lift you up. That's also a real important thing to be talking about. Why is sauerkraut one of the best things? In this case, fermented foods. I know that a lot of times we create those fermented foods in our refrigerators because we left leftovers in there a little too long. We're talking about controlled fermentation here.
That's right. Well, they add good bacteria to your gut, which is very important because it's not something that normally happens, but it is something that you really need. And the easiest way to fix that is to add sauerkraut into your diet. When I was a kid, my mother made hot dogs with sauerkraut, and I just loved them. I mean, she'd put chopped onions and sauerkraut, mustard, and ketchup, and then she would boil the wiener and steam the bun, and that was just so good.
Mm.
But I don't suggest that you do that because wieners are not good for you at all. I mean, there's not a healthy wiener that I've ever been able to find. Uh, there's been attempts made, and then there's even people that try to make carrots taste like wieners, but you can put them in your hamburger. Hamburgers are very healthy if you use the right kind of beef. So if you can work sauerkraut into your diet, I like it. You know, I can just eat it along with my food, but a lot of people don't. But uh, its benefits are worth trying to make that happen.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's take a look here at something else that is good for you as well. And I happen to love sauerkraut. I mean, there's this little Dutch garden and in Santa Barbara, and it's just really fantastic. What's the we have here the best seed, flaxseed. Now I've heard about it. I've heard people putting it in recipes in some instance. Why is this the best seed for us?
Well, it cleans out your gut and your inner plumbing. It's rich in omega-3 fatty acid. It's high in fiber content, provides heart support. But if you just eat the flaxseed, it gives you some of these things. But if you want to get the full impact, you need to crush them in a blender or a mixer of some kind, crush them up, maybe mix them with cottage cheese or something that has the consistency of cottage cheese. And then you get hundreds of times the effect as you do when just eating the seed without crushing it. Now, I guess you could put the seeds in your mouth and chew for, a few minutes and get some of the same effects. But it's one of these things where you need to crush it and eat it pretty quickly because you can't crush it and eat it the next day and get any of the benefits from it. But there's been some research and some doctors that have done this. It's really good for a lot of things that are really bad for you, that keep you healthy much longer. So if you go to YouTube and type in cottage cheese and flaxseed, you'll see an entire group of videos explaining why that is super, super healthy for you.
Well, we certainly hope that people will avail themselves of that. And before we wrap things up, Dennis, there's so much that we could be talking about here on the program and so many more. We encourage people to go to the website that you've created, Body of Life, Body of Health, I should say, .life, bodyofhealth.life, and get more information about what we've been talking about. And I'm going to let you have the last word here before we wrap things up.
Thank you, Richard. We went over a lot of things. If you want to see the entire program in an article, go to bodyofhealth.life, click on the articles. It has all of the radio programs that we've done this year. Bodyofhealth.life has the supplements that are mentioned in one place, so it's easy to find them. It doesn't really matter with us where you get them, but some of those things are hard to find. So I made an effort to have this put together. So if we mention it, you can find it in one place at a reasonable price and high quality. If you want to purchase something, you can use the code radio and get a 20% discount just to help you get started. So thank you so much. I hope you'll join us next time when we finish out the best of everything for your health.
Absolutely. We hope you'll stay with us here on the Best of Health. This is a series on Tell Me Your Story. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love Talal. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Mike, thanks for being in my life and letting me be in yours. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.